Hi, I'm Chris Bowler from the Unboxed Board Game blog. I'm here on behalf of the UK Gaming Media Network with Jake Thornton, and we're looking at Dwarf Kings Hold from Mantic Games. Jake.
Dwarf Kings Hold, let's start. Dwarf Kings Hold is a two-player game. You can see the front of the box here. I'm afraid this is our open copy for demonstration for the tournament.
Hence the sticker.
Hence the big sticker.
Yeah.
We've sold out of our first print run, so we're having to reprint.
Good news.
Which is good news.
Yeah.
It's good news, but it's a little awkward when I come to demo over here. It's a box game. This first version is a two-player game, although actually modding it to be more is very simple, as you'll see. It's a dungeon bash.
Okay.
You've got two sides, the undead and the dwarfs.
Okay.
In the Dwarf Kings Hold, so what you've got is an environment where you make scenarios with different tiles.
Yeah. And how many tiles are we looking at in the whole
There's
set?
29 tiles, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
And 6 scenarios in the first box.
Right. But obviously,
and they go
create
together
your own
and
scenarios as well.
Absolutely. There's no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, you can see there's
Yep.
a bunch of different scenarios ranging from quite small things to bigger ones, and that's, if you can see it, that's all of the tiles in the game, so there's that many tiles.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's pretty big. How big? Yeah, does it fit on a standard size table?
It fits this sort of size, so it's quite sizable. But
because quite a lot of them are sprawling. You go everywhere, and you can't put it on a normal table.
I designed stuff so it fits on my kitchen table
Right,
because that's where I have to play.
That's
so
a good plan.
I assume that other people have similar.
Yeah.
Our table comes
Some
from
people
IKEA,
seem to have
so
a warehouse just so they can just put tiles there.
Generally Texans. But no, this fits on a very small, normal sized dining table, kitchen table. So you can get, if you want to play with two sets together, you can link them together, do your own scenarios. Obviously, then you have to have a bigger table. But this normal game fits on a table comfortably.
Okay.
I said 6 scenarios. This is the first scenario.
Okay.
Sort of. That's a bit bigger than it should be. It's a bit bigger than it should be. That one, I can't find the right tile. But
Right. I guess that's another problem with open copies.
It is a problem with open copies. People rob them for other stuff.
Right.
What we've got is each player has each scenario gives you a setup for the board, which has different places for the models and different objectives. And you also vary, the game is action point driven.
Okay.
So you have, each side has this is a set of tokens for the dwarfs.
Yeah.
And these ones for the undead. It's not quite a complete set, but what they have different numbers on. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the undead. 1 and 2 for the dwarves, and also the dwarves get these follow-ons extra special tokens. So the token sets are different.
Yeah.
And within
I only
each
have
scenario,
1, 2. Does that mean I'm slower then? Is that?
Well, what you find is that in most scenarios, the dwarves will have more in their hand, so to speak.
Okay.
So that you have, this is like, if you think of this as sort of a hand of cards.
Right.
So you have a number. These are face down shuffled, and you draw a pool of 3, 4, 5, depending on the scenario.
Okay.
And the different sides have different numbers.
Right.
So the fact that these get more on individual tokens on average balances out with the fact that they get more on the whole.
Choice. Yeah.
And also the fact that there are generally less dwarfs.
Right. So you can spend more tokens on fewer models.
Well, what it generally means is that you have enough to move everybody.
Right. Okay.
Whereas the undead have to pick and choose.
Have to pick and choose. Cool. Okay.
Because at the end of in a turn, it's going back this kind of randomly, but in a turn, when it comes to your turn, you have a hand of a pool of tokens, which will depend on the scenario, be 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can play from that pool.
Okay.
Each action you play allows you to move and fight with one model.
Okay.
So some of the tokens have more than one number on them, so they've got 2 or 3 or 4. This means you can act with 2 or 3 or 4 models, and each action is discrete there, it's separate. So you if I roll a 2, I played a 2, I could move 2 models, then move 1 and fight with it, finish that completely, then I do another one.
Okay.
And it's all to do with kind of the management of your pools and what you've got and so on. So I have to play at least 1. I play as many as I want, up to moving each person once, because you can't move everybody more than once. And then, if I'm dwarf, I take as many as I need to fill up my hand.
Right.
If I'm the undead, I only take 1.
Okay.
So having a 4 on that token is really good because I
very
can do 4
handy.
and do that. Or I can choose to whittle down my hand slowly by playing extra ones if I want to.
Yes.
So that's part of the tactics.
Right. So once you're down to just one token and you have to play that, and then whatever you draw next, you're kind of hamstrung with it. Yeah.
Except the special thing the undead do. These are the minions of the necromancer.
Okay.
The necromancer isn't here in person. He is controlling his minions like puppets from a distance with his magic. However, in each scenario, you get a number of what we call baleful gazes.
Yeah.
And this is his sort of paying attention, particularly to what his minions are doing at that time in this place.
Okay.
So that allows you to do a number of one of a special number of things.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 different choices.
Right.
Each baleful gaze is a once per scenario use.
Okay.
And one of the things you can do with it is fill your hand back up to full.
Okay.
Whatever that scenario's
That's handy.
maximum is.
Yeah.
Very useful. The other things include everybody who's next to one of the enemy gets a hit on them.
Right.
You have to fight again. One of the other things is called shuffle, where every one of your models that isn't next to an enemy gets to move 1 square.
Okay.
And the last one is a single one of your models gets a complete extra go.
Okay.
So move and fight.
And so you can play these at any time. So you can
You play them at the end of your turn.
At the
after
end of
you've
the
played
turn.
your normal action tokens.
Right, okay.
So you do all of that.
Yeah.
So that if you wanted to, you can burn through everything you've got.
Yeah.
And then instead of just taking one, you can use your baleful gaze and refill your hand up to the scenario maximum.
Yeah.
So that's quite powerful.
Yeah.
But they're all situational. It depends on the scenario, it depends on who you're playing, it depends on what stage the conflict's at,
Okay, cool.
as to which of those is the best one.
Right.
And in some of the scenarios where you have 2 or maybe 3 baleful gazes, you can use them in different combinations at different points, and so that you're managing that is quite.
Are they fixed per scenario? Do you get specific ones, or is it just random at the start of the scenario? You get 2.
Each scenario has a number of. It's got a map, which has all the different placings for all the models. It's got a number of pool size for the dwarves, pool size for the undead, and a number of baleful gazes.
Yeah, but it's a random one that you.
Well, no, you pick.
Oh, you pick it.
You pick
okay.
which one you
right,
use.
cool.
So part of the strategy is when to
you
use
can
it
set it up
and
for
which
yourself.
one do I want to use. That's right. So sometimes you might see, I've got myself in a position where if everybody moves 1, that puts them in a really good position.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to now burn through everything to get lots of done here, and then I know I can fill up my hand.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But that means then I can't do. Or you get the everybody next to a dwarf has a go. So you may think, well, I'll pile on in my actions, I'll spend my tokens, I'll get everybody around trying to kill this particularly important figure, and I can't kill him. And then I've got a baleful gaze and don't want to use that, and everybody gets another go at whacking him, and
cool.
maybe takes him down and clears that point.
Right.
So
when you get to act with a model, what can you do? Is it move and attack? Or
move and
all?
attack.
Right.
Before we do that, the kind of balancing thing.
Yeah.
These little chevron guys, the follow-ons.
Yeah.
They're a special thing that the dwarves have that the necromancer doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
And what they do is each model's only allowed 1 action per turn spent on it.
Yeah.
But you can spend follow-on actions once you've spent all the actions you want.
Okay.
A follow-on action is a move or a fight.
Right.
Whereas an action is only move and a fight.
So you could.
Follow-on action is kind of not as good because it's only one or the other.
Yeah.
But it's better because you can do it as well.
So you could move to attack a model. If you then fail, you can make a second attack.
In this case, dwarves move up to 6 and the undead move 4. So the only time you'll ever see the dwarves moving faster than anyone else. That's because this is where they live, and they're not dead.
Right.
So being dead makes you a bit slow.
Okay.
So anyway, if the let's say this is the white ones on this are the skeleton warriors.
Yeah.
The grey ones are the dwarves. It's the dwarves' turn. They've played a couple of actions.
Yeah.
They play another token. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop when you get adjacent to an enemy model.
Yeah.
You then fight.
Yeah.
You don't kill it.
Yeah.
You could then
play that and
play that
attempt to kill
follow-on
it.
and then have another go.
Yeah, cool. Can you ever play 2 follow-ons on the same model?
As long as you have follow-ons, you can keep playing follow-ons on the same model.
On the same model.
You can play it on the same model. You can play it on a model that hasn't had an action played on it. You can play it on anything you like.
So if I kill
They're
this,
very flexible.
Yeah, I could kill this on my first attack, have a move and an attack if I had both.
Yeah, you could, for example, if that was your first action, spend that to move, have a fight.
Yeah.
If you killed it,
Yeah.
you could spend a follow-on to move there. If you
Yeah.
had another follow-on, you could then spend that to fight it.
Yeah, cool.
So they're quite flexible, but not guaranteeable.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, the baleful gaze is more powerful in a way.
Yeah.
They get a limited number of them,
Yes.
and they're flexible and so on. So there's and these help balance the scenario and make each scenario different.
Okay, cool.